the bottom line here is that when you study blockades, and these are economic blockades, often in war, and I've studied them for 30 years as part of my economic sanctions work, my air power work, which also looks at the naval blockades, you see a clear framework, which is in the early weeks of a blockade, what you end up with is disruption of goods that go in, which increase the price of the good inside of the entity that's being blockaded. In this case, the world is being blockaded. So, but it increases the price, and the reason is because there's stuff left in that country. There's material, there's stockpiles, and that's why the blockades, they increase price. But then after about 4 or 5 weeks, maybe 45 days, you get a different stage. That's the stage where those stockpiles run out. And that's where you get true shortages. Now, you've had fear of shortage. That's why the price went up in the first 45 days. But after 45 days, now you actually have shortages, and you really see those shortages materializing because you have South Korea, you have the Philippines, you have Asian states already going to Pakistan to 4-day work weeks now because there are actual shortages occurring. Well, after the next stage beyond that, say day 60 to 90, now you get to the third stage, which is contraction of commodity production, because you don't have some alternative supply source for 20% of the world's oil, 30% of the world's fertilizer. There's nothing like that just sitting around waiting, lying idle to be plugged in. So what you end up with is a 3-stage, which is price rise, shortage, contraction. And I published this a few days ago, and you see now we have the IMF coming out basically explaining this. Here I'm giving more details, and then also I'm comparing it to the 1973 in these stages. So you can really see that in the 1973 oil shock, almost identically, the stages happened there too. Same with the blockade around Japan to get Japan to surrender in World War II. There's these 3 stages, and once you understand the stages, then you know what to look for at each stage as the hard indicators, and that is then gives you a heads up on the risk that's coming. And so we're at day 46 right now, so we just passed day 45, and with the U.S. military blockade, in addition to the Iranian blockade, there's precious little going to get out of the Strait of Hormuz at this point. Maybe a couple ships here and there, but we're not expecting a flood, that's for sure. So what that means is that this is likely to be a predictive model that you're going to see here by May 1st. You're going to start to see real shortages happen, and they will start to be reported in the newspapers. And then by June 1st, that's when you'll probably start to get the first actual reports of true commodity contraction. Producers producing less of furniture, producing less of medical equipment, producing less of automobiles. There will be just generalized contraction as those inputs now are not just more expensive, they're just not there. So that is where the real rub comes. And that's why you will see, as much as they're screaming and shouting right now, we got to end this, we got to end this, wait till May 1st and then wait till June 1st. And then this is going to then go on. And that's what happened why the 1973 oil shock, that went on 151 days. 151. That's exactly the number of days it went on. And that was enough to send the U.S. economy into stagflation for 8 years. Interest rates on homes at 16%, not 6%, 16%. So we need to understand that this is really why Hormuz is so important, and why what's occurring here, the real effects are coming. They're lagged, but they're not lagged for 20 years.